quiet. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Listen, if you are just now joining this live and it has ended, and you just want to get to the meat of the live, then I would suggest you fast forward to like 6 minutes in, because that's how long it normally takes me to share this post. And so if you don't want to wait, feel free to forward about 6 minutes. But until then, if you are joining me live, welcome. Hi, Maisha. Hi, Janae. Hi, Pinky. How are you? Gale Force, how are you? How is everyone? Just give me a few minutes to share as I always do, and we're going to get started. How is everyone? It's an interesting topic today. Very interesting topic. We're going to hopefully do some, all of us, me included, do some growing off of this topic today. Just going to take a few minutes to share this post, guys, to a couple of places. And I am hot. So if you see my face shining, no worries. It's just hot. Where I am is hot, guys. Hey, Aaron, how are you? How are you, brother? So I'm just sharing in a couple of groups, guys. That's what I do. And then we're going to get started. This normally takes me about 5 minutes to do. But stay here with me. We're going to have a good talk today. We are going to have a beautiful time today. How are you guys? Hey, Doris. How are you, beautiful? Just sharing, guys. Just sharing. Hi, Maria. How are you? I had a topic that we were going to talk about today. But again, sometimes spirit kind of takes over. I try my best to stay on topic, but I'm always obedient to the spirit. So just come on in, guys. Welcome. I'm just sharing. How was your guys' day today? Welcome, Mike. Hi, Danica. Hi, beautiful. How are you? Well, I hope. Let's see. We'll get started in a second. Just have a few more places to share this video, and we're going to get started, guys. My angel helps me, so it won't be that long because I take half, she takes half. So we'll be done in a second. How'd you guys feel about that topic? Today's topic. It's a heavy topic. It's a topic that a lot of people probably won't touch, but I have to touch it today. I have to touch it today. Hi, Ross Pick. Hope I'm saying that right. How are you? All right, got about 3 more places and we're going to get started, guys. Oh, it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good time today. Hi, Keith. How are you? How are you beautiful people tonight? This is a heavy topic, and I am going to ask if you want to come in at the end. Maybe I'll get a chance to take a few people to come up and talk, because I would love to hear what's on your mind, as I always do. I always love to hear what you guys are thinking. So, all right. I'm going to turn this music off. Tyrone, what's up, brother? Peace. How are you? Peace, peace. Good to see you. Alright, I think I have shared to all the places that I know to share to. Alright. So I am turning off the music and we're going to get started. Would have been better if I had just turned it down like they used to do in the club, right? Alright. Alright. Hopefully everyone is here. I invited my whole family here tonight with me, because this is a topic that's very important to me. Is JT here? Sean B, is JT here? Yeah. Okay, great job. Alright guys, let's get started. Today's topic is: the church sold me God for 10% of my earnings. And I may close my eyes, so don't worry, I'm still here. Sometimes when I go, what I call in the spirit, or in my highest self, or to connect with that which is all things, I close my eyes, but I'm still here with you guys. This is a very important topic to me today. And it's important because I have spoken with beautiful people from these live sessions, and some that are not on the live sessions. And one of the very first things that I always do when I begin to coach someone or talk with someone is I ask them, what is your core? What is the thing that governs you? And a lot of times here lately, I have heard people say that they're not sure what governs them. And a lot of people have stated that they would like for their core to be some spiritual form, either God or something, but it is not. They don't have a core, or they don't have God. And let me define God really quickly. As I define God. God is a word, it's a 3-letter word that we use to describe that which created all things. So I'm not talking about God that is attached to any specific religion. Just that which created all things. So for the source of this, so for the duration of this conversation, I might just call it source so that no one gets confused with the word God and place it inside of any particular religion. So many times I am speaking with beautiful people and they do not have a connection to the source, as they say, or a connection to the Creator. They would like to, but they do not. And I asked Source, this week, how do I talk to someone who has described themselves, not how I have described them, but who has described themselves as one who lives without the source, or one who lives without a heavy influence of the source? Now I know the reasons, because they have, these beautiful people have shared with me their reason. All of them have different reasons. But for the most part, disappointment and pain has become trauma has become the major ruling factor of why Source isn't active in their life, or why they do not rely on Source or have a relationship with Source to the degree that some connection is made and they can have some form of stability or something to rely on or to depend on. Now, my business coach, she's not here now, but her name is Tiffany Jackson. You may see her pop on. One of the things that I told her when I first started to do this work was that I didn't want anyone to, even though I did a 7-year study with my pastor, or minister, some people call it ministry. I did 7 years with my pastor. I said I don't want to be called a pastor, I don't want to be called a minister. And the reason I don't want to be called those things is because pastors and ministers have 2 fatal flaws for me. First fatal flaw is that the pastor takes on the role of being your answer. Meaning, if you have a problem, you go to the pastor, and the pastor, solves your problem for you or becomes the answer for you. Number 2, the pastors ask for a specific amount of money, 10% in particular for the most part. And when you do that, you somehow have sowed a seed to God, and you will get a blessing. So money tied to God for your blessing or for whatever, are 2 things that were indicative to the words pastor and minister. And so when I'm talking to these beautiful souls who are admittedly saying, I would like to have God or Source in my life, how do you have that conversation with that person who has either, 1, never been introduced to God or Source or anything spiritual, or 2, someone who has experienced supreme disappointment, hurt, pain, or trauma? And so I go back to, Spirit took me back to this place, and here's this place. And I know that I'm speaking to someone today. Spirit took me to this place where I remember seeking God or wanting God to be in my life after I realized that the God that I had learned about wasn't the God that I could attach myself to, or my whole spirit or life being to. So the journey became to find God. And so how do you incorporate the Source into your life? For me, was I asked the Spirit. I asked Source, could you please come into my life and show me you, and show me how this thing called life is supposed to work, and all that I need to know to be successful here in this place. What I learned was that the Divine Spirit, and I'm going to walk you through this if you allow me to, stay with me. What I learned when I asked that question, and I have my kids here with me, and it was important that I asked them to come in this room with me, because when I was growing up, I was raised as a Christian, and I raised my children as Christians. But when I began to ask God myself, which is absent the pastor, I went and asked God myself to guide me, to teach me, to share with me, to have me to know about God personally, then my walk in Christ or Christianity totally changed. I became knowledgeable. And inside knowledge, sometimes it can be difficult when you're disassociating yourself with a God that has very many personalities, or is very judgmental, or has very humanistic traits. Because that's how it was taught to me. You follow me? So I had to remove myself from that place, as the Spirit had me to do, and it became more of a knowledge-based place of living rather than a belief place of living. At first I was believing, and I got out of believing in a God or in God, and I stepped into a place of knowledge or knowing something different, or knowing God. And I'm going to introduce God here today. This is very big for me because I don't really travel down this road very openly, because my pastor taught me that you do not give steak to a baby. You feed the baby milk. So we must be careful, as even teachers that are on this live call with me, because we're all teachers. We must be careful when we're sharing information and how we share it, because we could jack somebody up, especially when you're moving them to a place of knowledge, or you're moving them to a higher realm of awareness. So when I began to ask for Spirit, and I'm here with my children, and I'm teaching my children right now, and I began to ask for God, and I began to understand that there's a different perception or a different way of looking at God rather than the way it was taught. But look at God and take God outside of that box that God has been in, called the Bible, or whatever it is the pastor has determined you should know. That would be the little box that God has been placed in. And God can't do but so much, or won't do this, or won't do that. So when you get out of that place of saying what God will do, or what God can do, or what God won't do, and then you come over into a different box where God does all things, life becomes so much different, becomes so much better. And then if you go into your space and you become aware that God really is all things, then it is such a different experience. So when God becomes all things, and when you become aware that God created itself over and over again in all things, meaning in me, in you, in the dog, in the trees, in the cat. When you begin to know that God created itself over and over again, all different aspects of itself, again, called me, called you, called the dog, called the cat, called the trees, then you can now come to the place where you see God in everything. Not just God sitting in the church or sitting in the sky or only sitting in the pastor's eyes or through the pastor's words, but God also in you. When you allow yourself the space to know that God lies in you, just as God lies in the person who you have given so much homage to, or so much credit to, or so much admiration to, when you, the same admiration that you have for them, that you deem that they are holy and pure and hold God's word, that same thing that you see in them is the same thing that is in you. And that's huge. Because if you allow yourself to come out of the box and stop saying that you are not the same source or the same creation that is in front of you, teaching you and sharing with you, if you can come out of that space for just a moment, even if you go back to your same space next week, that's fine. Just come out for a moment and allow yourself to feel the divine presence within you. That infinite source of wisdom, that infinite intelligence, that thing that is all things. Allow yourself just for a moment to feel what's inside of you. If you allow yourself to feel what's inside of you, and if you go inside yourself and you don't feel anything, then take that person who you believe has everything and feel that for a moment. And then place that same feeling that you just had about somebody else and put it in here. And allow yourself to feel it for you. Because the thing that's the most challenging when we're navigating through life and we're making choices and we're making decisions and we need that solid rock, or we need that assurance, or we need that confidence, or we need that knowing, or we need the removal of fear. If we believe that thing that I just said, all those words that I just said, exist outside of ourselves and not inside of ourselves, we have a hard time manifesting or creating or having our prayers answered or having the desires of our heart, because the thing that will create that thing that you want, you've placed it somewhere else instead of placing it inside of you, or remembering that it is already inside of you. So when you're trying to navigate through life and have the desires of your heart, if you have somehow separated yourself from the divine aspect of yourself, it's very easy to get let down. It's very easy to experience trauma. It's very easy to experience pain. Because that is the absence of that thing is presence of those things. So the absence of that divine energy that you're looking for, or that divine power, or that good thing that you're looking for, that we commonly call God, or we commonly call source, or we commonly call infinite intelligence, whatever it is that you want to call it, that thing that creates, holds, nurtures, cares, and moves for you in your positive capacity, if you take that thing and put it outside yourself instead of inside yourself, you're going to have a different result. If you put that thing inside yourself, if you allow yourself just for a moment to see how beautiful and wonderful, created you are, if you just allow yourself to see that and stay in that space and become aware of that space every single day, you will find God, or you will find the divine source. You will find that thing that's holy and pure. In here, I promise you, you will. So many times we are looking for God outside of ourselves, but God really is within ourselves. The kingdom of heaven really is within you. The kingdom of heaven really is within you, not outside of you. So it's just like if I'm talking to someone and they have experienced trauma and they don't know how to get over or get through their trauma. And it's hard to get over or get through your trauma if there's no base inside of one that will cause them to have the feeling of support, or the feeling that I will never leave you, or the feeling of love, or the feeling of infinite presence. There's a hard time getting through trauma if that place, that thing that I just said, isn't present. It's very hard to get through trauma. So because when you're going to get through your pain, or when you're going to get through your trauma, or you're going to get through the events that have taken place in your life, and right now you say, I don't want any more. You know how in church you go down there and you want to get saved because you say, I'm going to get saved because I don't want to go through this no more. And I just want God to come into my life and turn everything around. I know many of you on here have at least heard that once or done that. You know what I mean? So this is the place I am talking about. If you saying to yourself, I would like to have something different happening in my life, and you went through the whole going down to the end of the church to get saved, and none of that stuff worked, you're still going through the same thing that you was going through last year. The thing that you could possibly be missing is the divine aspect of spirit within yourself, not outside yourself, but within yourself. Now I'm going to say something that I've said before. This is going to sting, but it's okay. If you leave, it ain't for you. And I'm okay with that. At some point in your life, this is what Spirit gave to me, and I began to do it, and now I am giving it to you. At some point in your life, you have to become your own Bible. At some point in your life, you have to take account of your own actions and see how it worked out, and what happened to make it be this way, and what happened to make it change. You have to go and become your own Bible. I remember when God said to me, I am the living word. which was so profound to me, because that meant that I am the living word. Every word that I speak, I have the power to experience. If you're in the Bible, if you go back to the Bible, God spoke it and it was. And it's the same things that we have. We speak things and they are. We think things, we speak things, we create things, they are. If you don't believe me, go look at your life, and I bet you spoke whatever it is you are experiencing into your life. And if you don't believe me, if you don't agree, inbox me, hire me for the coaching session, and I'm going to show you how powerful you are. So you are the living word. You are the living word. And we spend so much time reading about someone else's living word. I don't want to offend nobody. I'm just telling you what I was taught. We spend so much time reading someone else's word, when we are the word. We are the walking word. We are having the experience every day. And if we pay attention, we will see the relationship in our own lives, as opposed to giving so much homage and respect to someone else's life. There's so much power in your own life. There's so much power in your own life that we're not paying attention to, because we were not taught to pay attention to. We were taught to pay attention to going to church and reading someone else's story and getting excited about someone else's story. And so you lost 20 years, 30 years, 40 years of your own story, because you now have a personal relationship with somebody else's story. You have to have a personal relationship with your own story. You are the living word. You are the living word. And someone taught you that you were not. Someone taught you that you were not the living word. And that's real. So how do you find God? How do you find God? Or how do you find that which created all things? Because there are some beautiful people who will say, I'm not looking for God. God is not real, and all of that stuff. And that's cool. I get along with them too. Because however you say God is or not, it is. You follow what I'm saying? But if you're looking for God, or you're looking for that source that you can rely on, that thing that will never fail you, the thing that will never fail you, always be there, help you create, is you. It's in you. So there's no such thing as you not having access to it. There's no such thing as it not being there. That doesn't exist. It's there. It's you. It's in you. If you want the biblical answer, if you're a Bible person, if you want the biblical answer, I think it's Luke 17:21, but I'll post it. In this, it's the biblical story of Jesus, when Jesus said, I and my Father are one, and so are you. Told you in the Bible, if you have to have a biblical story, it told you in the Bible who you were. Who did Jesus think he was? And then Jesus told you who you were. But you guys aren't walking in that. You guys are so busy going to somebody's church to scream and holler and then go back home and don't experience any change. Are you kidding me? The divine spirit, the divine thing that is all things, is in you. It's in me. It's in you. When you see me, you see the father, the mother, the sister, the brother, the cousin, and all of that. And when I see you, I see the father, the mother, the sister, the brother, the cousin, all of that. But you know, it's hard. And for sometimes people, my friends, you guys know my story. When I was growing up, people would call me crazy. But I'm okay with being the remnant. As you know, in the Bible says, only the remnant will find it. I'm good with being the remnant now. Back then I wasn't. Back then I was trying to figure out how I could be like the rest of them. I don't care to be like the rest of them now. I'm good with being the remnant. I'm good. So, in other words, God is not for sale. When you go to church and you're giving your 10% and you're getting it, and you know, very often the pastor would used to tell me, somebody got $10,000, come up here and God's going to bless you. And I was one of them crazy people who were going down there giving all my money because God was going to bless me. You know, because that's how they said it. So I was buying my blessing. I was buying my blessing, but the blessings are free. But I was buying my blessings. And I don't care how you say it, when you were going into when I was going into those buildings, that's what they said. And so that's what many people were up there buying. They were buying God for 10%. And that's why, you know, I have a really hard time with using the word minister or using the word pastor, although I did my study, you know, under a pastor, but my pastor didn't do it that way. So, how do you find God? You don't find God. You know, I didn't find God by going down to my church altar and saying, I believe Jesus Christ died on the cross for me, and then there was God. That's how I thought I found God. Now, don't get it twisted. When I was there, I really thought that that's how you find God, because that's what was told to me. But I never experienced any real change. I just believed it because that's what was taught to me. But I found God. And how did I find God? I found God by going inside myself and asking the question, asking for God. I asked God to show up. And God showed up. And I promise you, if you ask, God will show up. And you don't even have to say, if you say to me, I'm not a Christian, I don't believe in God, I don't believe in any of that, cool. We can do that too. I love that dance too. We can just go inside ourselves and say, how do I become the best me that I can be on this earth? And how do I operate in such a place where I will experience peace, love, joy, and happiness all the days of my life? And all the days of the life after this one. If you even just ask yourself that question, we're all going to get the same answer. There is but one answer. No matter how you ask the question, there is but one answer. But it's so important, because without that, I'm going to say two things. Without God, or scratch that, say that's not real. Without knowledge of your higher self, then you can experience chaos. You can experience pain. You can experience letdown. You can experience not having the best. You can experience all of that. It's available. Or you can say, I would like to know how to operate in my best self. Or, God, where are you? Show me you. Whatever, those same questions are going to get you the same answer. Because you are the answer. You are the answer. I get so many calls, and although I love the calls, I want to answer the calls this way. I get so many calls with, will you bless this? Will you touch and agree with me on this? Will you say that this is right? If you say it's right, then I'm going to believe that it's right. And I respect the respect that you're giving me. And I get it. This is learned behavior. But I'm never going to answer that call because that is not who I am. I am not your answer. I am my answer. And you are your answer. And if you're working with me in any coaching capacity, which I hope you do, I hope everyone on here joins the tribe and contacts me and we do coaching, whether it's spiritual coaching or life coaching. But however coaching we do, I'm always going to lead you back to yourself. I am always going to lead you back to your divine, pure, holy, good self. Always. Because you are your answer. If you don't believe me when I say you are your answer, before I validate that claim, let me just tell you, I want you guys to join the tribe. I want you guys to join the tribe. I don't want anyone in here to not join the tribe. The tribe is www.theanewpractice.com, and I just put it on there. I think I did anyway. So Angel put it up too. That's the link. There we go. That's the link. Please, guys, join the tribe. We got to stay together and connect on this soul level and keep our intelligence growing, keep our souls growing, keep our souls moving and ascending up. And for those who can understand out of 3D, out of third dimension, we got to get out of third dimension. We got to get out of third dimension. Please join the tribe and let's stay connected. Join any of the workshops that I'm having, all of that. But join the tribe, and that's where you can book your times with me too, if you want to do coaching. But let me go back to what I was saying. I was saying that if you don't think that you're your answer, I'm going to give you proof that you're your answer. You are your answer. I'm going to give you proof. If you don't think that you're your answer, whatever it is you believe right now, this very moment, whatever it is you believe right now, this very moment, who told you to believe it? If you believe that your pastor is a man of God, who told you to believe it? Who authorized that belief system to exist within your soul? Who? Who said yes to that question? It was you. You're the only person who could have said yes to that question. You're the only person who agreed to believe that. I'm not saying you're the only person, but I'm talking about that physical body that you're in. You're the person who agreed to that. You're the person who agreed to say yes to that or believe that. And then if you want to say, no, God did, then God lives inside of you, which is what I'm saying to you. Because that message came from inside of you. It came from inside of you. It came from inside of you. You used your inside to hear that. You didn't use a voice outside yourself to hear that. You used the inside of you to hear that. That message had to come from inside. That's you. Now this is a little bit different today, because my goal for today was to re-establish with you the beautiful fact of how do you, or to answer the question, or at least pose the question for some. How do you find God? How does God become active in your life? Or how do you find the source? Or how does the source become active in your life? Or how do I operate in the best place that I can operate in and create the best life that I want to have for myself? That is the question. That's the question I wanted to pose. And I wanted to share the insight that I was given. And that was that it is within you. You don't have to look outside anywhere else to find it. It's in you. You are the living word. You are the Bible. Now, that was what I wanted to share today. And I'm very early. See, normally I talk for a long time. Today it only took me 15 minutes. I do want to take any calls or any questions that you might have. If you have any questions or you want to rebuke and say, you know what, you're going to hell. Just bring it. Let's talk about it. Bring it. Let's talk about it. Only one or two things are going to happen. Either I'm going to learn something or you're going to learn something. We don't lose either way. So if you want to come up with me, please write the word invite in the comment line. Or you can hit join conversation at the bottom at the bottom of the screen. There's a button that says join conversation. And you can hit join conversation. But don't be nervous. Talk to me. Talk to me. And I know that there are some people, because they tell me. I know this because they tell me, and I give honor to that. There are some people who will send me a message and say, I couldn't get up on live because I don't want anyone to know that I was listening to you. Or I don't want anyone to know that that I feel, like I'm going out. I get that fear because I lived in that fear for a long time. I lived in a place where, I really did give a lot of credit to how people felt about me, and what they said about me and validating me and things like that. So I get it. I don't have any problem with honoring that, that space, because I was there. But if there is anybody here, or if anybody made a comment that I need to scroll down to see, I'm going to start scrolling. And baby girl, if you got to go, I'm cool. I just wanted you to, I'm going to tell my babies that they can go now. I'm going to scroll down. Oh! Matthew's here. I wish Matthew would come up with me. If you're still here, I wish you would come up with me and say hello. But I'm not sure if you will. Okay. Yeah, so if you have questions, that thing was surging. Turn it off at the base. Don't unplug it. Just turn it off. Hold on 1 second. You said it was surging? Just put it up. What is it? Up or down? It's off, Sean. Down. You just pull the plug out because it's still going to get hot. It smells hot. Yeah, it smells hot. I'm scared to pull it. I'm scared to turn it off. Okay, sorry guys. We have surging going on over here. The light that I had on me so that you guys can see me is going. So we had to stop that and pull that out. So if there aren't any questions, then tonight is going to end early. Are there any questions? Does anybody on here have any questions? Is there anybody on here that said to themselves, you know what, I want a closer relationship with God? Or is there anyone on here that said, I want to have a closer relationship with my higher self? Or I want to know how to be a better person? Is there anybody on here that had those thoughts in their mind? Like, how do I be my best self? Or how do I operate in my higher self? You guys are so quiet tonight. Why? This was a rough topic, I know. It was a rough topic, and it will cause a lot of people to be silent or to not want to, talk about it because the topic is so taboo. You know what I mean? Anytime you go to a place where you are expanding your consciousness or you are expanding your awareness of yourself or God, it can be a topic that a lot of people do not want to discuss because it goes outside of the box, or it goes outside of the norm, and everyone wants to be normal. Everyone wants to fit in. And so I know a lot of times I talk about things that, it doesn't fit in. And, I get it. I just love seeing that you're here. Even though today's topic is very deep and you may not want to communicate and if you want to, you can send me a private message because I do have my computer up. So, because I think someone just did that. If you want to send me a private message or a private question, I'll answer it from my inbox. I'll answer it here. Even though you won't it's not posted here. If you send it to me in my inbox, I'll definitely answer it here without, you can do that and it won't show up in here. But, yeah, I know that it can be very interesting whenever you begin to come out of that box or break out of that box or, expand yourself, and you begin to have questions and you begin to have concerns and things don't make sense anymore. That's not following, it's not working or it's not making any sense. And you have these questions and you're taught you can't ask the question and you can't feel a certain kind of way because, God will get mad at you or offer you hell. God will offer you hell for thinking or asking a question. That's some wicked stuff, but it's real. So I get it. I get the fear of even wanting to say anything. I get the fear of even wanting to think anything different. Sometimes I sit down with beautiful people and they will go, is that what the word say? Is that what God said? Because they can't come out. If it's not inside their Bible, then God didn't say it. And my God, every thought that God has can be put into the Bible. That's how that strain looks. It's a heavy strain, and you're bound to that Bible. You know what I mean, or that word, and you can't go out of it. I've been in that place where you cannot get outside of that word, and you will miss the whole world because you cannot. Everything that is ever spoken, or God ever said, or God ever approved, is only in that Bible, and that's some really wicked stuff. Because that would mean that God didn't create anything different. Everything is the same. You know what I mean? Every circumstance is the same. Every person is the same. We're still going to have everything the same, and which contradicts the fact that we're all different. And time, it's just interesting. It's just interesting. I could go on and on about that. I wrote a book about that. Listen, let me plug the book. I wrote a book about that. And Angel said she put it in there. I wrote a book about that called Wounded by Christianity, Healed by God. And I really wasn't intending to talk about that book. I really was intending to just really talk about finding God. Well, I put the name of the book in there. I just really wanted to talk about finding God. How do you find God? How do you find Source? How do you get there? And I wanted to talk about that. That was my main goal tonight, is to talk about that. And the answer was to ask for it. Ask for it. Asking, ye shall receive, or seeking, ye shall find. It's not absent. The answer isn't withheld from you. You're the only person that can withhold the answer by not allowing yourself to explore outside of things. If you put yourself in the box and God only lives in that box, then you don't get to experience the God outside that box. And that's a very, interesting way to live. Because God is so much bigger than the box. Or you, if you don't want to say God, it's cool. I don't have any problems with any of that. You are bigger than outside the box or inside the box. You are bigger than inside the box. You really are. I was listening to someone the other day, and they said that the human is so powerful that it takes food and makes it human. That's how powerful the human is. And I was like, wow, that's deep. This machine that we in really is a powerful little machine, because we actually do eat food and we turn it into, that energy goes into our body and makes our body run and function. And so I guess we do turn it into a human. When he said that, I went, wow, that's interesting. So I always give this little, this is empty now. My uncle gave me this in terms of God, or finding God or your higher self, whichever you want to call it. My uncle gave me this, and he said, this is a bottle of water, right? So, and he would put a glass in his hand, and let's just say this was full, and this was a glass, and he would pour the water in the glass. And he would say, what's in the bottle? And I say, water. And he said, what's in the glass? And I say, water. He said, what's in the bottle? I said, water. He said, what's in the glass? I said, water. And he said, so imagine that the bottle of water is God, and imagine the glass. What's in the glass? I said, same thing that's in the bottle. Just a smaller portion of it. Same thing, smaller portion. We can get back to that beautiful place. Life is grand. It really is. If you can get back to remembering who you are, and not let anyone tell you that you're not that, because they have a limit to understanding. See, if you're on this thing with me, and the numbers have been at least consistently 30 people, it's fluctuated from 40 to 30. But if you're on this call with me, something inside of you already told you who you are. You wouldn't be able to stand and sit here and listen to me. So something inside of you already is activating, already letting you know who you are. And your soul is calling for more. It's calling to know who it is. It's longing for more. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I remember, let me just say this. I so love the Divine Spirit. See, I call the Divine Spirit God, but I don't have any problems with people who don't call it God. I don't war with people who say there is no such thing as God. I don't war with them. They just say that they're operating in their higher self. I totally agree with that. I just call it God. Anytime you can operate and be in divine energy, you call it whatever you want. You can call this water, you can call it H2O, you can call it whatever. If you put it in the freezer, you're going to call it ice. If you put it in the sky, it evaporates and it's still water. If you put it in here, it's water. It's the same thing. I don't care what form it takes or what you call it. It's the same thing. Right? It's the same thing. So I really, really, really love my highest self, or God. And I love being connected to my highest self, or God. Because it's the energy, it's a force that allows me to feel beautiful and powerful and loving and kind. And with it, I can do all things. With it, I don't have any limits. I live in that space, and I know that that's me. The problem is we've forgotten that that's who we are. We have forgotten that that's who we are. We have allowed someone to come in and tell us something different and believe it. And because we believe it, we live in that thing. And we live a crappy life a lot of times. Because we're living in the low places of not knowing who we are. When you know who you are, it's different. It's a different feeling. I know for me, my life work is to remind people of who they are. That is what Spirit has me to do. And I love to do it. That's what is my call. Is to remind people of who they are. Not to have anyone sit and serve anyone, or for anyone to have to call me for an answer or call me to bless something. Are you kidding me? You're just as powerful as me. I'm not going to call no pastor to bless anything for me. And I don't want anybody to call me and ask me to bless anything for them. You are just as powerful as you think I am, or you think whoever is. The power comes from you. I was just telling a little lady the other day about her daughter. Her baby. She had a baby. I said, don't you get that baby to no pastor to bless before you bless it. That's your baby. You lay hands on your own baby. I understand the traditions of the pastor and all that, and respect and hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. But listen, put your own hands on your own baby. Bless your own baby. Bless your own baby. And bless your own self. Bless your own self. Because you have to remember that the blessings that you give, or the blessings that you're asking somebody else to give you, is indicative or as powerful as their understanding of their own self and their understanding of God. They can't give you what they don't have. Or they can't share with you an awareness of something they're not aware of. So if the pastor who's touching your baby, or someone who's laying hands on you or praying for you, are not aware of their own power, of their own strength, then they're going out. I want you to hear me when I say this. Then they're going outside of their own self to give you something. And if they're going outside their own self to give you something, you don't know what they're giving you. I'm going to say that again. You have to be careful who you let put their hands on you, or pray for you, or talk over your life. Because if they're going outside themselves to give you something, they don't have any control of anything outside their self. So you don't know what they're giving you. I hope that hit whoever it was supposed to hit. I know it hit whoever it was supposed to hit. Ashe. So no question. Y'all so shy. What is really going on? What is really going on with you beautiful people out there? Well, I tell you what. I wanted to share this story, and I am going to share this story, and then I'm going to hang up. We are so powerful. We really are. And I don't know, everyone who normally comes on, I don't see everyone. I see a lot of new people tonight. But I'm going to tell this story. I have congestive heart failure. I was diagnosed in 2015. And as soon as I said that, they go, my dad! Love that man. Hey, Willie! 2014, I think, is when I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. 2015, I lost my dad. And as soon as I said that, my dad came in. evidenced in the name Willie. My dad's name is Willie. And my partner Willie came in right when I was talking about him, as always. But at any rate, my dad passed away and I went in the hospital. And they told me that, is that my listed? They told me that I would not, I'm sorry y'all, I'm just like that. They told me that I was going to die and that I would not make it out of the hospital. And because I have such a strong relationship with spirit, and I have an understanding of spirit, spirit, I don't live in the place where people die and they don't know that they're getting ready to die. I don't live in that space. I know that people know when they're getting ready to leave. So when the doctor told me that, I said, well, I hadn't heard spirit tell me that. I didn't hear spirit or I have a conversation about my death yet. So I'm not real sure about that. And they brought every doctor that they could bring in there. And I said, I understand what you're saying. They said, do you understand what we're saying? I said, I understand what you're saying. And they were like, but you're not crying. You're not calling your family. We just want to make sure you understand. I said, I understand. But see, I knew that I hadn't had a conversation about death. And because I had not had that conversation about death, I couldn't relate to what they were saying. Not to mention, my father came in the room and said, get up. It ain't time for you to go nowhere. I got my butt up out that hospital, I can tell you that. And that was 2 years ago. Now, I eventually had a conversation with death. And I told death that there were certain things that I wanted to experience before I left. And that I wasn't going to leave before I had those experiences. And so I know God, or my higher self, enough to know that if I said that, I'll have that. So death isn't anything that is going to be with me right now unless I change my mind. I don't think I'm going to change my mind. The other day I was so sick. I came through, you guys see me on here, and I don't know if Mary's on here or not. Vititi is here. Vititi, are you still here? I see you say, hey sis, are you still here, sis? Vititi, are you here? Just say yes if you're here. So I think it was Thursday. I was on the phone with Vititi, and I was walking through the door, and I fell on the floor. I was in the car. Before I got to the door, I told my daughter, I said, I'm weak, and when I get in the house, I need you to run upstairs and get my medicine for me. But I didn't even make it through the door. I got to the door, and I fell out on the floor. And I was so weak. And I said, this is strange. I don't know what this is. I feel funny. And I was on the phone with Titi. And she said, sis, you on the floor? I said, girl, I done fell on the floor. And I kept on talking on the phone with her. Didn't I, sis? Didn't I, sis? Just say yes, she did. I kept on talking on the phone with her. And my kids were like, Mom, are you okay? Are you okay? And I felt funny, so I really wasn't okay. And but I still hadn't. It just felt funny, you know what I mean? So I got up, I got to the couch. Well, my son and my brother picked me up and put me on the couch, and that must have been around 6 o'clock or so, or 5 o'clock or somewhere around here. And you know what I did? I said, you're not going to win. I'm still going to get up. I'm still going to do live. I'm still going to do what I do. And I did. I came right on live. Nobody even knew that I had fallen. Nobody knew that I wasn't feeling all that well. Because I wasn't going to, and I'm still not going to, let this thing get me. I went out on Saturday. And you see all the pictures up. And I was so sick that day, I barely made it to the car. But I was like, this thing is not going to kill me. And I haven't decided to die. So because I haven't decided to die, I'm going to live, and I'm going to live the way I want to live. You know what I mean? And so, we have to remember who we are in this place. I told you that I shared that story just to share the fact that we create these realities. We create them. The mere fact that that happened to me was a creation of minds, and the mere fact that I got up was a creation of minds. We create this stuff. We create it. There's no such thing as us not being in tune with God and knowing what's going on with us. That doesn't. I mean, we can choose not to know. You know what I mean? We can live in the place of not knowing. People do it all the time. People do it all the time. They live in not knowing all the time. But you can choose to not live in that place and live in the place where you're in harmony with God, or you're in harmony with your higher self. And you know things that are going to happen, or you know how it's going to work out. You know it because you're in rhythm, or you're in harmony, or you're in tune, or you're in that frequency. That's a place of choice. We choose. So I just choose to know. I want to know. You can do the same thing. There she goes. She said, yes, she did. I was like, you're on the floor? You're like, I'm going to give her this word. We so appreciate your gift, and how you share yourself with the world. I share. We was talking spiritual stuff. I was like, I'm not dead. This is not going to end what we doing. We got work to do, sis. So, I mean, it's beautiful. You know what I mean, guys? It's beautiful. We can live in that place of knowing. Okay. Let me see. Somebody did send me a question. Let me ask it. Oh, I got the half the question. So the person who sent me the question send me the full question, so I got half of it, and I'll try to answer it before I hang up. Hi, beautiful Sierra. Everyone on here, if you guys want, please join the tribe. I said it before. Join the tribe, join the tribe, join the tribe. It is a place where I always send messages about workshops. You guys know that I'm spiritually inclined, so I do hearings. Some people call that readings. Some people call that psychic abilities. Some people call that clairvoyant, intuitive. Some people call it prophecy, the gift of prophecy. I call it, I hear from God. I tell you what God said, or I tell you what the angels said, or your loved ones. I just tell you what I hear. And I do that only for people who are in the tribe. So join the tribe, especially if you're looking for a word or guidance, or you just need some help. You know what I mean? Sometimes we just need someone that can hear more, who can hear to confirm things for us. So join the tribe and participate in all the things that we're doing over there. It's really good. All right. No one wants to come up and talk to me today. I know, because this was a hard topic. But so I'm going to leave ending saying this. Hi, Keith. I'm going to leave this live saying this. We cannot buy God. That's not how it works. To discover God or to find God, one must go inside oneself and be willing to hear God. Even if that means that when God tells you something that you can't find somewhere else. If God tells it to you, believe God. Don't limit God to what your pastor says or what's written in any book. When God speaks to you, listen. Hear God. Give God permission to have the relationship with you. And that's a very powerful place to be. And don't be so concerned about other people, because other people don't have a heaven or a hell to give you. They only have their limited understanding to offer you. And you can choose to live in their limited understanding, or you can go to where God is taking you, to your highest understanding, or your higher self, highest level of consciousness. And do not war with people who do not believe in God, or they talk about the universe, or they talk about consciousness. It's all the same. Everyone's just trying to get to that beautiful place of love, peace, joy, and happiness that exists forever. They have different paths to get there, different words to describe it, all the same answer. Don't get caught up in that distraction. That is just another distraction. It's just another distraction. Well, we did good tonight, guys. We did good. No questions. I did try to wait for the question to come over on my inbox, but it's not coming. So, sorry. I have a horrible cold I've been taking medicine for, and the medicine makes me sleepy. So I'm going to sleep now. Tiffany, I love you, lady. And Angel, I love you too. I appreciate you, ladies. I appreciate y'all. So I always end. Hey, Nicole, I see you popping in. We are just now ending, beautiful. I'm going to end this session by saying what I always say. And if you agree, just say, I agree. And or write the words, I am abundance. Here we go. I am abundance in my health. Everything about my body is operating properly and as it should. I am abundance in my spiritual life, in the area of hearing from God, angels, and loved ones, and delivering the messages that will cause others to have peace, love, joy, happiness, and to bring about an awareness of their own self and the divine energy that lives within them. I have abundance in my finances, which means that there isn't anything that I need or want that I can't get to because of finances. I am abundance in love, peace, joy, and happiness. Good times. I am not balanced in that area, nor do I seek balance in that area. I want to be tilted to the left. More of it than not. Abundance, abundance, abundance. I love me, and I love this work. And I love the lives that I touch and they touch me. This is a beautiful life I live. I am abundance. So, I'm ending it with that. Y'all supposed to type I am abundance. Where are you guys? You did? Where is all the I'm abundance people? Where are you guys? Y'all supposed to type I am abundance. We are supposed to touch and agree. We are sharing energy space, y'all. Where is it? I don't see none of it.
I had to keep going out and come back in too, so I don't know what's going on with life.
I don't see anyone saying I am abundance. I missed it.
I said it. Tiffany said it.
I touch and agree. TT says I am abundance. I don't see it. My cousin says she sees everybody's. I don't see everybody's. But please type I'm abundance. I like to say it out loud. I like us to share that energy space, guys. Because we share in that space. And then we connect in that space. And it's all of us. Look at all that power and energy that we can use together. Stop it. We'll move mountains. Move mountains. I love y'all. Joanne says abundance. I am abundance. Angel says I am abundance. Melissa, how are you, beautiful? We have just ended, but we are at the I am abundance part. I am abundance. I am abundance. I'm on it, says Ashe. I am abundance. So I love you guys. And tomorrow is Wednesday, so I will be doing hearings. That means I'm going to be coming on here, and people are going to be popping up on the screen, and I'm going to be listening to them and telling them what I heard spirits say over their life, or angels or loved ones that crossed over, or whatever comes up. I will be doing that tomorrow. But you must be a member of the tribe. So if you're looking at this and you go, I want to be there tomorrow and see what she say, join the tribe. But, yeah, join the tribe. I love you guys, and thank y'all for hanging in there with me. Mwah, 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 mwah. I love y'all. I'll see you tomorrow, 7:45. Bye.